On this week's Flame Central, Liberty football moves one step closer to kicking off the 2022 season. We bring you a report from camp.
Plus, we go out of the office with a Lady Flame soccer player, and a former Flame makes his big league managing debut. It's straight ahead on this Flame Central.
Are you ready for football season yet? Well, if you're not, we're going to get you ready here today. Welcome inside the palatial Flame Central studios. Alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner.
Matt, already dropping the big words to start off the show. All right, the Liberty Flames kick off the 2022 season on September 3rd at Southern Miss. Yet the quarterback that will be leading the Flames on the field in Hattiesburg is still to be determined. Yeah, and for this week's camp report, Emily, being the dogged reporter that she is, decided to take a deeper look at the QB battle and asked head coach Hugh Freeze, when do you plan on naming a starting quarterback?
Whenever I feel good, I don't care if it's tomorrow, I don't care if it's next week, I don't care if it's the game week. I'm not into this secrecy of we got to wait till the game to announce the starter. I think the sooner the better for our team.
So the jury's still out on who will replace Malik Willis as the starting quarterback for the Flames this upcoming season. But head coach Hugh Freeze knows exactly what he's looking for.
Oh, it's to me about production and understanding and decision making, and then accuracy. If everything's equal after that, it would come down to my gut feeling. But really, I mean, we keep stats every practice. I can tell you, I can go pull the sheet that says here's his percentage in decision-making being correct, his execution being correct. So, I mean, we've got numbers that tell a story.
But for now, this story doesn't necessarily have a main character. 4 guys are competing for the leading role: Jonathan Bennett, Charlie Brewer, Caden Salter, and Nate Hampton.
It's been, super competitive, and I think just all around, I think everyone's, competed at a high level, and I think it's, off to a good start. We all have our strengths, our weaknesses, and, a lot of those guys, helped me out a lot learning the offense back in the spring, and still doing that, to this day. So I think the camaraderie is, pretty good between all of us.
I'm just taking it day by day. Just do what you can with the opportunity you're presented with. Whether I'm the one guy or whether I'm the 4 guy, I'm not defined by that. And, I get my worth in Jesus Christ. So it's been good. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been good for everybody. We've all been battling hard, and competition's been super high, so we've all been able to improve.
Despite having to share the reps between all the quarterbacks, it doesn't seem to have a negative effect on the rest of the team.
The 5 linemen up front are responsible for 5/11ths of the play. I can't worry about what's going on back there. I know JB is working. I know Charlie's working. I know Case Salty's working. I know Nate is working. That's not my priority. My priority is making sure that I take care of my job, and me and my brothers up front are taking care of ours.
Obviously, you want the chemistry with who you know will be out there, but being able to build chemistry with all of them it's a good thing, honestly, because you never know what can happen. Then you do have a chemistry with the second and third guy, but it's good to get reps with all the quarterbacks.
Both good, positive points about the QB situation. However, it also carries a tough reality.
I think the biggest challenge is just when you make the decision, man, you don't want to lose the others because you have a belief in them also. And there are times that they look really good. And so trying to keep everybody working toward the same goal of helping us produce a winning football team, even while you may not have your number called, which is very disappointing.
So, Flames Nation, stay tuned because this quarterback story isn't over yet. Man, it's going to be a tight competition down the stretch for that QB spot. And veteran Jonathan Bennett wants to win that job. Out of all the QBs, he's been with the Flames the longest, which is why we thought it would be a good idea to kick off our newest segment, My Moment, with JB sharing his all-time favorite play in a Liberty uniform.
My name is Jonathan Bennett. I play quarterback here at Liberty University. My favorite play actually happened in the last bowl game. We were in the Linen Tree Bowl.
Jonathan Bennett at quarterback now, an opportunity to see who might be your starting quarterback next year.
So we were practicing this play all week, but Coach Freeze never got to it in the game. So like, first play I was in, we huddled on the sideline. He was like, all right, I want to try this one. And I was like, you want to try it first play? Like, hey, I didn't even get loose yet. He was like, yeah, let's do it. You can do it? I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. If you guys remember, it was the big post to Kevin.
He'll throw deep on first down and has a receiver wide open.
Wow.
That's Kevin Shaw.
Wow.
He'll score.
Early in the fourth quarter, it was a fake flat action to the running back when he ran over from the right side and a post from the left side, and Kevin just outran the quarter's defense and got behind him. Worked to perfection. Kevin ran a good route, and we scored. Remember, I gave a little shoulder shrug to Coach Freeze. I was like, oh, well, yeah, that was fun. But, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yes, I did it. That was easy. That was, wow. What a play. That was awesome.
The shoulder shrug, gotta love it. If you want to see some of those explosive plays at Williams Stadium this season, it's time to get your season tickets today. They're going fast. Why, do you ask? Because some of the big-time programs like BYU and Virginia Tech are coming to Lynchburg. Don't miss out. It's going to be a huge year for the Flames.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, with preseason games already beginning in the NFL this past week, it gave a number of former Flames an opportunity to make plays on a national stage. And no one took advantage of that more than Malik Willis. The former Liberty quarterback got the start for the Titans in their game against Baltimore, and he generated some serious buzz, throwing for over 100 yards, running for 38, including a touchdown, all of that coming in just more than a half a play. But he wasn't the only one contributing. Jesse Lemonnier had a sack and a forced fumble for the Cardinals. Story Jackson got a lot of playing time for Dallas and racked up 6 tackles. Duron Lowe recorded a couple of tackles for the Rams, and Skylar Thomas got on the stat sheet for the Chargers, although unfortunately, he's since been released by the organization.
Best of luck to all of those guys. Well, switching gears to the kitchen. No, Matt, we're not talking about pickleball. We're going out of the office with Lady Flame soccer player Marta Alexandra to find out more about her passion for cooking and how she brings the feeling of home through her food.
My favorite thing to cook is rigatoni pasta and then this sauce made from scratch. Cooking is one of my favorite hobbies because it was just something that I always did with my family since I was little, and it just really makes me feel at peace. Cooking for me really reminds me of home, which is Portugal for me, just because of being able to do that with my family and do it here with my teammates just reminds me of what I used to do when I was little. I'm the youngest of 4, and it was just us and my mom kind of need help. I never really liked to do any of the other cleaning parts of the job in the house, so I always just would help in the kitchen. So with cooking, during the process you can be trying it and see if you like it or if you need something else. So basically while I'm cooking, I'm always eating something because I'm always trying everything. Try it, if it's not good, you have to keep adding things just to make it the way you like it. I never follow a recipe because I don't know how many cloves of garlic I need for this. I don't know how many teaspoons of olive oil I need. I do it and keep trying it and see how it works. The chaos of the kitchen is relaxing for me. I feel because of the fact that I'm not thinking about anything. So it's literally just me cooking, no distractions. Especially when when you do it with friends, it's also kind of fun.
Don't drop it. I got it. Teamwork. Woo.
Everyone's helping.
Just tell me when to start. No, keep going. You can do all of it.
The feeling of a perfect dish is amazing.
Okay, now the sauce.
Me being happy that I'm the one that made that and made someone really enjoy what they're eating is just so great. I love when I cook for someone and they just at the end they actually enjoy it. One thing that I always look is if they finish their plate. I don't know, I feel that's a big thing because if they're actually enjoying what you made, they're gonna finish the plate.
Looks good. Thanks to you.
I mean, that is some good-looking food.
I wasn't hungry before this, feature, but now I am starving. And she said, that she looks to see if they finish their plate. There's no way I'm getting up from that table without finishing that incredibly looking good meal.
Yeah, now I heard our videographers actually did not get any food. That had to be the toughest job they've ever been on, having to just shoot all of that and then not get anything. They probably stopped at Hardee's on the way home or something. I think you'd have to.
It's a rough job.
All right, hey, we stay on the pitch. That's soccer terminology. No big deal. The A-Sun released its conference preseason poll for men's soccer, and I'm going to say it, the Flames, they're criminally underrated. Out of 9 teams, Liberty's picked to finish 5th. That should provide a little motivation for the boys. Liberty had an up-and-down season a year ago, finishing 7-9, but they bring back plenty of talent, including preseason all-conference selection Marko Mitrevsky. With more on the expectations for men's soccer, Rhett McGibbon headed out to the pitch.
For the last 2 seasons, Liberty Soccer has been in a youth movement. But now as Coach Finley looks at his team, he's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's nice to have some maturity. I've got a good friend that, has been a mentor, and he always says, freshmen are trying to figure it out. Sophomores are wise fools. You can win with juniors, and seniors, you just got to keep them from getting distracted. So we've got a lot of juniors, which is nice.
It definitely helps a lot when you have experienced guys, and not only the guys that have come through the ranks and been freshmen and now they're juniors now, but also bringing in a couple guys that definitely brings some experience to our team helps a lot and will help us a lot in the future going down the line, going into October, November time.
With the amount of experience that returns to the lineup for this fall, it's difficult to point the finger at one area of strength.
We don't really have any weaknesses, and I think that's an even better thing than having a good strength. So I think that's probably the best attribute, is that we don't have a weakness this season. Is we're strong everywhere, depth everywhere.
Every position, multiple players can step up and are willing to do a job. So I think that's really important and potentially something we've lacked in the previous years. So it's really exciting going in, knowing that, if someone's tired or injured, someone's willing to step up and do a job.
You play between 2 and 3 games a week in college soccer. The load it's a strange season. It's really fast, really intense. So you have to make sure you balance that out. So to have a team that's deep and we can rotate is going to be a great opportunity.
With depth and experience, one would believe the expectations to be high on this team. However, that isn't their focus. A lesson learned from a year ago.
It was definitely a learning lesson, not to put so much weight on rankings. I think we kind of got caught up in getting 15th and 9th and all this stuff and kind of put pressure on ourselves, and we just need to play and enjoy the game, and everything else will come. The results will come. It's just the enjoyment is what we're looking after this season.
Now we're kind of going in with no expectations, with a chip on our shoulder to prove that we are who we think we can be. And so I think they're excited to go up for the challenge. And our schedule's hard. I mean, every game in Division I college soccer is hard. There's tons of parity across men's soccer, but we've also really pushed our guys to go for it. Try it. Like, you might fail, but that's okay. The idea is, how good can we be? And so I would say they feel like, hey, let's go see how good we can be and let's prove ourselves.
Excited to see what those guys can do this season. All right, to the courts. The A-Sun released its volleyball preseason poll, and the Lady Flames were voted to finish 5th in the conference. The defending champion FGCU was picked as a preseason favorite to repeat again this year, with Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, Lipscomb taking the projected 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spots, respectively. Looking back to last year, Liberty finished with a 10-14 record, taking 5th in the A-Sun East. But check this out, Matt. I bet you're going to dig it.
I see what you did there.
Liberty welcomes 10 newcomers on this year's team. So let's just throw out that preseason poll, because these talented impact transfers include Cameron Bakis and Delaney Dilfer, both coming from A-Sunfeld Lipscomb, and then Erica Lowry out of Aggieland, not to mention a deep incoming class of 7 freshmen. The Lady Flames will begin their fall schedule on the road at VCU and will return home for their home opener on September 2nd.
Yeah, Lady Flames may just be primed for a breakout season. We shall see. All right, we turn to Major League Baseball now, where a Liberty alum is now leading the Texas Rangers. Tony Beasley, who played baseball for the Flames in 1988 and 89, has been named the interim manager for the Rangers following the dismissal of Chris Woodward. This is the 8th season that Beasley has been a part of the Rangers staff, and the 22nd season he's been coaching in pro ball. One of the truly great guys in the game. We're all pulling for Bees to have success over this final month and a half of the season. All right, coming up, you'll hear it at Flames games this fall, but do you know the origins of the Flames fight song? We'll bring you the story.
Plus, it's story time with Liberty Baseball, an incredible look back at the early days of the program. That's when Flames Central returns.
Shedrow untouched. Oh, goodness, what a sack. Says, boys, that's how we do it. 10, 5, right about. Yes, touchdown, Liberty.
Yeah, my first experience of Liberty was when we played them when I was at Auburn. It was pretty crazy coming here after, seeing that though. I scored against Liberty and then I ended up coming here just out of the opportunity, both on and off the field, to grow as a player, to finally play a little bit.
Willis looking to throw, has time in the pocket, slips it downfield, that's DeMario Douglas, touchdown Flames!
Here comes the house for the Cuse. Willis looks to evade and somehow escapes. Malik Willis is Houdini in a Liberty uniform.
Makes the first man miss, makes him miss twice, still on his feet, now gonna loft it downfield, looking for Douglas, he's got him! Malik Willis is a magician.
Coach Reed's just been genuine and honest since the beginning, that's my dog there. That's the best way I could put it. I mean, that's my guy. I think training champions for Christ means to me just basically that on and off the field building of a human being. I mean, with the just mindset of whatever you do, do it for the glory of God. I mean, we come to understand what that really means when you start to, open the Bible or start to go to church and you just understand like what He done for us. So even if we're just going to school, like whatever we're doing, use it to glorify His name. Just understanding like it's bigger than me and you. It's bigger than all of us, really. It's just nobody's better than one another and just give the glory to Him. That's what I feel like.
At Liberty University, we don't just believe everyone should have access to higher education, we make it happen. That's why we are offering our Middle America Scholarship to help families like yours by providing over $20,000 over the course of 4 years. Money should not hold you back from the life-changing experience at Liberty University. Find out if you qualify for the Middle America Scholarship today.
Welcome back to Flames Central. One statement I think we can all agree on is that when a university has a rich tradition, there's something special about being a part of it, especially when you're at a college football game and those traditions, like a fight song, are brought to life under those bright lights after a Flames touchdown at Williams Stadium. But where did Liberty's fight song come from? Who created it and how? Dr. John Hugo has your answers.
We're set for football here tonight. Beautiful sunset in front of us. Outstanding crowd. Lewis now the tailback. And Shedrow will get the call. And up the middle he goes. Angles out right to the 10-5. Line him up. Touchdown, Liberty.
I started working at Liberty in 1988. When I got here, I noticed that traditions really hadn't had time to form. The school was only a few years old, really. Back then, we had nothing. There was very little here. So I kind of arrived and I thought, well, maybe we should try to have some tradition, something that the alumni could identify with when they came back. So all these things are working together in my mind. I thought, we need a fight song of our own that we can have, that we can identify with, that's ours, that's Liberty's. And then I said, fine, we don't have one? Let's do this. Let's see if we can come up with a fight song. When you're writing a tune, you sit down at the piano and you kind of noodle it, noodle around a little bit. That sounds kind of good. Something like that. And then you'd look for a harmony that went with it. Fan the flames, fan the flames, fan the flames, whatever that's going to be. Then you write it down, and then you start another phrase. And the tune kind of repeats, but in another key. Well, something. Da 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 da. Okay, again. I gotta go someplace else, and a good place is maybe they work good. And that's another chord that works with that note. Okay, what's next? Oh yeah, da 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 da. Hey! So that's kind of how you go about it. You just be creative, and then I would write that down, and then I would work on it some more, and to make it better and better. So finally, we get something like the band is playing in Fan the Flames. That all comes from this process. Then I've got to set it for a band, which is going to have counter melodies in it and all kinds of different things that follow that harmony. So we found the harmony, we found the melody. Now we got to make it interesting.
The only thing I would ask you to do is maybe play a little bit longer when you finish each of those elements. There'll be a lot of people in the stadium.
The fight song is tradition. When we do something that's traditional, it bridges across generations. Students who come back after they've graduated, maybe 4 or 5 years later, they hear the fight song and they attach to it right away. There's a greater identity because of the tune. So it gives us that connection between generations that maybe other music does not. I do work with the students to help them know the importance of tradition. The way that we perform it needs to be professional, and it needs to be professional every time. And we do need to represent the university well, the ensemble well, in all the music that we play, but in particular the fight song, certainly. Go ahead, stop. And yes, I do feel that responsibility as the steward of the fight song, because we are the group that plays it. Nobody else plays it.
All right, here we go. Horns are up. Get ready.
I do think that tradition is important, and I think we do have a fight song melody that is right where it needs to be.
Well, as long as Liberty's around, I think that fight song will be around too, because the fans need to be tied to their team.
Can't wait to hear that rockin' in Williams Stadium this fall. All right, after the break, it's story time, so put your listening ears on. We'll be right back.
I'm Sadie Robertson, Huff. We love Liberty University. The Robertson clan has all been big fans. Go Flames. And I don't just say that. My brother actually went to Liberty. Him and his wife, Mary Kate, lived up in Lynchburg for a while, so we visited them several times. Got to go to the football games, experience it, which is so fun. I love the culture here, and I've gone on convocation twice now, and just think it's incredible. The people at Liberty don't realize how lucky they are to have a mini conference every single Wednesday, to really get to be with a big group of people worshiping the Lord and getting messages poured into their hearts. Like, that's going to impact them forever. So I love that. My sister's online at Liberty right now. My brother's in Lynchburg. I actually took a semester at Liberty online. Liberty Online was super fun and honestly challenging, but great. And what I loved about it was that as I was doing school, even for one semester, I learned so much about the Bible. I actually ended up preaching on something I learned from my first class I took at Liberty. And I just think that's so cool that you can be getting an education, but also really strengthening your spiritual life. And so that's why we love Liberty as a family, because we just think it is so important that we train champions for Christ, and that is Liberty's message, that is what they're doing, and they're doing it so well. And I think that it's so important now, maybe more than ever, that we know the Word of God and that we're rooted in that. And so while people are getting an education and about to step in to be the leaders of our future, that they also are being led by the Spirit of God. And so we're huge fans. Go Flames.
Off the circle, sends it down low, nice move, Gamer in front, scores! What a move! A snipe from the top of the circle, high on the glove side. Flames, a great shift here so far. Quickly fired ahead, down deep. Lobber after it, fires it around, and that's gonna do it.
Hey, welcome back to the show. You know, over the years, there have been so many great stories of faith involving Liberty Athletics.
Yeah, and some of those people have never even heard about. That's why we started this segment, Story Time, to share these little-known stories. And today's comes from Liberty Baseball.
My name is Ed Larimore. I was a second baseman shortstop, played 1974 through 1977, graduated in 78. One of the things when I think of Coach Worthington, if there's anything about him, that he was an evangelist, that the gospel was what Coach was about. And one story, I remember Mike Dolan and I were sitting, and we were at a secular university, and Coach came up to us and he said, Ed, Mike, no matter what you say, somebody's got to tell him. And then he turned, and there was a couple girls sitting at a table just close by. And he turned to them in front of us and he said, let me ask you, young ladies, has anybody cared enough for you to tell you how to get to heaven? And the ladies go, no, they were just college students, and these two girls said no. And then he turned and looked at us, and he says, see there, guys? Nobody's ever told them. And then he walked off. And Mike and I looked at each other and just started laughing, and we never did go over and talk to those girls. And Coach came to us later, said, did you tell them? And he goes, we go, no. And Coach was just kind of disgusted with us. Well, anyway, what ended up happening, we're playing, right? And we're in the dugout, we're playing against that university team, and these two girls came out of the stands, and they came up to Coach and they called him out of the dugout. They go, what did you mean by that? And Coach shared the gospel with them and led them to Christ. And that was Coach Worthington.
Such a cool story. Yeah, goosebumps. And honestly, there are so many stories just like that throughout Liberty Athletics over the years.
Yeah, we'll share those throughout the show. All right, so the Flame Central podcast is coming back.
Yes.
Be sure to download and subscribe that for football season.
Yeah, and go to libertyflamecentral.com for any stories that you might have missed. She's Emily. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here next week.